What's up? Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you being here to listen to me ramble about these workouts. If you find value in them, information is in the description to send me your support. If you have any feedback, as always, please let me know. How can I make this a better experience for you so it could help set you up for success when you coach. We're going to break down Wednesday, February 12th. This will also repeat on Tuesday, February 25th. In the 2G, it's a time-based run row, and in the 3G, it's just a regular class. We're gonna see power on the treads, endurance on the rower, power on the weight floor. You will need the benches out on the floor, so just be aware of that. So we'll go over the 2G, talk about the 3G, and then get you on out of here. So as far as key concepts go today, the tread, each time you're on the treads, it's a push all-out pair. The rower, get through the 300-meter push row as quick as possible so you could head to the tread and accumulate distance. And then on the floor, you have 4 blocks, all about explosive power. So when we look at the 2G, the tread only blocks are 5 minutes and 15 seconds. And then the row to tread blocks are 3 minutes and 45 seconds. You do have 90 seconds to transition between the treadmill to the rower, between blocks 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Okay, so as we're looking at this, block 1 starts with the treadmills. They're gonna do a 3-round attempt of a push all-out walk recovery. The work will progressively get longer. The walk recovery stays at 45 seconds. So the goal here is to maintain the push and the all-out. They're gonna start with a 30-second push, 30-second all-out, 45 walk recovery. The next round, the push will increase by 45 seconds, and then another 1-minute push into that all out. So as we look at this, you have a minute of work, 45 of rest, 75 seconds of work, and then eventually 90 seconds of work. So as we hold that push for a longer duration, it will fatigue the body, making the all out that much more challenging, really requiring members to dig deep to find that power to essentially sprint for those 30 seconds. Knowing that the pushes are getting longer, just keep it simple, 8% or greater for the power walkers, probably about 1.5 up to 2 for the joggers and runners over their base. Bikes and striders, I would probably put them about 4 gears over base, knowing that maybe 5 would be better for the 30 seconds, but for the minute, maybe 3 to 4. So right in the middle, start 4 gears over base and just hold that every round would be a good mix up for that. And then of course for the all outs, max effort. And then with the walk recovery, it's only 45 seconds. So at the very least, heart rate should change color as we see that dip in the beats per minute. So if they are hitting like low red, they should be hopefully hitting like high orange by the time they start the next round. If they are in that orange, hopefully they're down to green or just right on that threshold, because we do want to see that heart rate trend down before we get back to work. At the end of this block, they'll have 90 seconds to head to the rower, and then they have a very short 3-minute and 45-second block where they're gonna do a 300-meter push row, and then they go up to the treads and tread for distance for the remainder of this block, okay? So that 300-meter push row for most people will probably be around 1 minute to 90 seconds to complete. They'll sign out, go up to the treads, and at that point, they'll probably have about 2 minutes or a little bit more to tread for distance. So it's essentially, it's gonna be like a longer, moderate push effort. Now with the row itself, I would probably have people right around 26 to 28 on that stroke rate. Leg drive, 6, 7 out of 10. Because even though the goal is to complete it as quick as possible, we don't want them to be so gassed out that they need to sit there and rest, because we want them to go right to the treads. So it's a push effort, they rack. The walk should be hopefully enough to get them feel pretty good, did on the treadmill, and then get to moving. Now, that's it. We're gonna do that sequence twice. So block 1 and 3 are the exact same thing. Blocks 2 and 4 are the exact same thing, okay? Now the only thing different is in the row block sequences, you have that row for distance as quick as possible, and then we're gonna track how much distance they get by the end of the block, and then in block 4, the second attempt when they repeat it, can they match or beat their tread distance? The only difference, of course, is this block is 30 seconds longer, because we also include a 30-second all out at the very end, okay? So in the second block on the tread side, it's 3 minutes and 45 seconds. The fourth block on the tread side, 4 minutes and 15. So just be aware of that, okay? And that's gonna be it. Now for the group that starts on the rower, they're gonna be heading to the weight floor after the 3-minute row warm up. So definitely give them wipes to clean up the rowers. So that way the tread team, when they go to the rowers, they have a nice clean row to use. Block 1 is unilateral work, and it is a little bit of power and a little bit of strength. So we're gonna see very low reps, and we want them to be controlled on the first movement, rest, and then they have an explosive core movement with that stand-in low to high chop. Now, they're gonna see a single arm contralateral lateral shift. So dumbbell, one side, they're gonna shift the weight opposite. So the free hand side is the one that they're gonna hit. They have 6 per side, okay? And then they have that low to high chop. Starts by the hip, explosively rotate. Imagine like you're trying to throw the dumbbell right behind them rather than over them. And I like to tell people, think about their spine as an axis, so they just rotate rather than bend and lean. So it's not a bend and snap, it's a twist, okay? That's it. Block 1 is very simple, just these 2 movements, 6 per side, rest after each movement, and just repeat. They should get at least 2-3 sets in. Now, block 2 and block 4 are gonna be timed up, rep and recover. On block 2, we're gonna see 3 rounds. Each round is 1 minute and 15 seconds, but it's broken up into 2 sections. So they're gonna start with 30 seconds of a full step up to knee raise. They're gonna alternate their legs on every step. So if they start with both feet down, it's gonna be left foot up, right knee up, right leg down, left foot down. Then the next rep, right leg steps up, left knee drive, left foot to the floor, right foot down. That is with dumbbells. Most likely they'll get about 8 to 12-ish reps. So I would have them use like a light to moderate weight. After 30 seconds of that, they will then complete 6 reps of a neutral grip push press and rest for the remainder of the 45 seconds, okay? 6 push press will probably only take them about 10 to 15 seconds of actual work, but of course there's gonna be that time for them to grab their dumbbells, also shake out their arms if they're using the same weight from the step ups, because the grip is gonna be a little fatigued. But hopefully they have about 15 to 20 seconds of recovery before you go to round 2. And then rounds 2 and round 3 are the exact same thing, except for on round 3, when they finish their 6 reps of the push press, they will hold a high plank until the end of the block. Of course, they could rest as needed while they're holding that plank. The third block is back to work and rest. So 2 movements, body weight, floor, power push-up. With the benches out, you could have them do it from the bench, or if anything, really emphasize tempo and control from like the straps. So, 2 counts down, pause, 1 explosive drive up. And that's gonna be paired up with the double crunch for 12 reps. With the double crunch, really try to emphasize neutral spine. So we want to minimize any arch through the lower back, try to glue the spine down. So the feet should be elevated about 6 to 10 inches off the floor when the legs are extended. And then the lower back stays down and the shoulders just roll up as they bring that dumbbell towards the knees, okay? Same thing, 5 minutes, 15 seconds, 2-3 rounds in. And then the final floor block, back to rep and recover. This time we're gonna see the bench pullover for 30 seconds. Elbows are locked out as they're laying back, reaching back, coming back up. They could do a strap low row as an option if they're not able to bring that weight overhead. But main thing is it's a back exercise more so than arms. So if they feel it in their arms and they're bending their elbows, probably too heavy, have them go lighter, really emphasize that deep stretch that they should feel through the lats. And then they'll have 6 reps of a sit to squat jump, body weight. Obviously being explosive on that jump is a priority. Whatever time is left, they will recover for those 45 seconds before you start round 2 and round 3. And then for round 3, you have from 2 minutes and 30 seconds until 3:45. They will do their sequence, but at 3:45, they go back to the bench squat jump for the final 30 as their finisher. So once they finish their 6 reps of the squat jumps, they hold the plank. And then when you count down the treads for that 30-second all out, weight floor, they're going back to their sit to squat jump. So pretty much no rest. on the last round on the floor block. So that will be very tough, both mentally and physically. Now, when we look at the 3G, 2 blocks on the treads, 2 blocks on the rowers, 2 blocks on the weight floor. Block 1 on the treadmill is the same thing as block 1 and 3 in the 2G, but they do add 1 extra round. So we're gonna see 30 push, 30 all out. The walk recoveries are 1 minute here, then 45, 30, 1 minute 30, 75-second push, 30 all out. And same goal, maintain the push and the all out intensities. Knowing that their push is gonna go up to 1 minute and 15 seconds, maybe a little bit more conservative. So it lists out power walkers 8% or greater for those shorter pushes, but by that minute 15 push and the 1 minute, they're saying 6%. So maybe have them somewhere between like right in the middle, 7% or greater, and hold that every round. Joggers and runners, I would probably put them closer to like 1.2 to 1.5 over their base and hold that, especially by that last round. Now with that 1 minute walk recovery, that might be enough time where they could stay aggressive and hold a more intense push for their 4 rounds. After that last all out, they'll have 90 seconds to recover, get back to base when they're ready, and then they have a bonus block of fixed all outs walk recoveries. So 30 all out, 45 walk recovery, and the goal is to maintain the all out. Now this is a new block, so they could do a new all out, or at the very least reference back their best all out attempt in block 1 and at least try to hold on to that or something better, knowing that it's just the all outs and the walks. For the rowers, block 1 is 8 minutes and 30 seconds like the treads, but they're gonna repeat a 300-meter push row followed by a med ball squat to bicep curl for 10 reps. Now the push row goal is to maintain push intensity. So if they do stored programs, we want them to finish about the same time while they try to have the same average watts. You could also reference split time as another gauge. So especially with them rowing for about a minute to 90 seconds, split time would be a good indication of something that they could sustain during that. Squat to bicep curl, obviously just active recovery before they rinse and repeat. Probably seeing 3-4 possible rounds here. The second block is timed up with the treads, all out rowing, recovery row. The goal is to maintain the all out intensity. So this one, because we want them to recovery row in between, think about for the all out, the leg drive gets them going, higher stroke rate, 28 to 32 or so, but pay attention to the peak wattage and can they maintain that for those 30 seconds. Obviously the first few strokes, watts will continue to go up. By the 5th or 6th stroke, that's probably where they're hitting that peak of power. Can they maintain that for the remainder of the 30 seconds? They'll have that 45 recovery and then they'll do it 3 more times. So 4 total all outs. On the weight floor, block 1 is like a combination of blocks 1 and 3 from the 2G. So we're gonna see 3 movements. You have the lateral shift, the low to high chop, and the floor power push-up. Now, of course, you still have the benches out, so they could do the bench power push-up instead of floor as an option or from the strap. Same, thought process applies here. Do your 6 reps on each side, rest, hit the rotational movement, be explosive there, be explosive on the floor power push-up. Now, the second block is the second block from the 2G. So they have the alternating step up to knee raise for 30 seconds, and then 45 seconds to complete 6 reps of the neutral grip push press. They have 3 rounds of that. And then of course, when they finish, they will hold the high plank until the 3 minute and 45 second mark. And that is when the treads and rowers are doing a 30-second all out and the weight floor is going back to the neutral grip push press for their finisher for the final 30. So just like in the 2G, that last block, gonna be a doozy on the weight floor since they're doing push presses for 6, high plank until it's time for another 30 seconds of push press. Shoulders are gonna be on fire. They're probably gonna cry a little bit, but it's good for them. That's it though. Once again, Wednesday, February 12th, and then it'll repeat on Tuesday, February 25th. Coach you down.